This is Gary Vaynerchuk, and I'm incredibly excited to add another job title to my 470 other things I do in life. This is the first episode of Die Hard Dialogue with me, Gary V, brought to you by DraftKings. I'm incredibly excited about this. I'm excited to be working with Jessie. We'll get into that in a minute. And I'm excited to be here each and every week to talk about why my New York Jets are going to win, or believe it or not, lose, because I really need to shoot it straight on this show. I don't want to have a homer mentality to my thoughts, though I'm incredible emotional. I should probably establish immediately, if you're listening, I would never take my thoughts on the Jets because there will always be too much love in it. I'm excited each week to bring a fan from the opposing Jets schedule. This week we play with the Panthers. We'll go into that in a minute and introduce our guests. And then two other friends or people I admire in culture that will represent another game each week. And they will go and debate as diehards on why they're going to win or what bets or things of that nature. And then we'll wrap up and go through the NFL schedule, where Jess and I will really break down our thoughts on our favorite bets. And so really excited about this new format. I've really gotten focused in trying to expand some of the content I put out into the world, so much about business and mindset and things of that nature, and realized that I needed a little more fun. And so props and drops that I'm doing with DK, and now this show, the Die Hard debate, dialogue, excuse me. I like to call it debate as well, because it will be, is really fun for me because I get to talk about my biggest passion, which is sports and specifically football. Jess?
And Gary, yeah, we have some like exciting aspects of this show. So we're going to have a listener league actually, and we're going to have weekly DFS contests with it. So it's not us just up here talking. Everybody can compete in these weekly DFS contests. Like you said, we're going to have 2 or 3 guests on. We're talking about the Jets game, then another matchup depending on those guests' allegiances. And what's really exciting about this, Gary, is that we're going to pick a bet at the end. So it's going to be like something that we talk about on the show, and then DraftKings is going to boost it. So we're going to get a special odds boost out of the show, which is like awesome. And basically our guests get to pick it, which is sweet. And then plus we're also going to have an awesome prize for the winner of the listener league each week. And here we are in our debut this particular week. It is a Sam Darnold card. I know that's close to your heart there, Gary.
Yes, that is correct. I, with my main man Rips, have gone through my sports card collection, and for each week, the additional gift will be sports cards for my collection. And I think the Darnold is actually a collection of 3 Darnold rookie cards. Ooh. So very excited about that, especially if a Panthers fan wins it, because it's in Jets jersey land. And so that makes me feel a little bit good. And I'm really excited about my dialogue partner in week 1. She is a young lady that I admire for her musical talents. As many of you know, big shout out to Mike Boyd. We have been for the last 13 years spending an ungodly amount of time looking at emerging artists. And she is one of my current favorites. And so I'm excited that she'll be joining us. Jess, are we ready for her to join? How do we go? Or do we hit everything?
We're ready. Bring her in.
You know what, Jess? I think a lot of people listening to this come from my world, at least up front. I'd love for you to spend 1 minute, because I think you and I are going to be interacting a ton. 1 minute on a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go into the rest of the show.
A little about me. Well, I'm Jessie Coffield. I work at DraftKings. I was a D1 athlete. I played lacrosse at Boston College. So always been a big sports fan, love sports, got my dream job at DraftKings in 2018. You probably know me from my commercials. Yes. And if you feel like I'm like stalking you, it's true. I am. Yeah. Yes. I'm sure you can't open a phone now. You can't turn on the TV. You can't do anything. Let's see. I'm the mother of a 100-pound Greater Swiss Mountain Dog named Thor, who is the light of my life. So that's my
What about team alliances?
So actually, my poor father is a Jets fan.
I love that.
I know.
What is your father's name?
Bill Coffield. He calls
Bill.
him. Yeah.
Bill, if you're listening, which I expect you to be listening.
Yeah.
Bill, I love you, and I'm ready to hug it out the second we can meet. And I hope your wonderful daughter here sets that up. Bill, I love you.
Yeah, he calls himself a long-suffering Jets fan. I grew up in Alexandria, Virginia, but my dad was a Jets fan, so I wasn't a Redskins fan, and he didn't feel like indoctrinating me into the Jets fandom because he felt things were not going so great. So
you're a
then when I went to
Ravens-
school up in
Oh.
Boston.
No, no,
I
This
know,
is
man.
so bandwagon. You are so bandwagon. You know it.
Listen,
You
I'm
couldn't pick the
30.
Ravens. I
I'm
don't
30
care
years
if you're
old.
130. You were a bandwagon Patriots
Come
fan.
on.
Yes, no, come on.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I know.
I didn't
All right.
grow up with it. I was legally an adult when I became a Pats fan, so that's fair enough.
Inappropriate. All right. Are you introing our guest? Should I bring her on and let her
I
intro
think
herself?
you should bring her on and intro her because you are friends with her.
Fair enough. Tia, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, your name, and what you do, and then we'll get into some Jets Panthers debate.
So I am TiaCorine. I'm an artist. I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
And
I just-
and give me a little bit about your Panther livelihood. Like, you know, each week we're going to be bringing people in. Are you a diehard? Are you a casual? Do you not care at all? Because let's call it what it is. I'm just so excited about you being a musical superstar in the future. And I just want to always point to the fact that you were on Jess and I's show early in your career. And we just are just going to tell everybody I told you so. But where do you sit in Panther land?
I feel like right now I'm just more casual. But like when I was younger, of course, it was like, I love the Panthers. And how I became a Panthers fan was because my mom used to enroll my little brother into like a Brad Hoover Carolina Panthers camp every summer. And so he'd come back and, you know, just educate me on the Panthers. And we played the game. It was always Panthers. So it just became like
Part of it.
a thing, like, yeah, family thing. So, well, I played like popcorn and cheerleading, and my brother played football, but our team was called the South Fork Panthers. So we had the same colors. When their uniforms changed, ours did. So it just was like, just became a thing. Yeah.
I get it.
The Panthers are 4-point favorites and they're
Okay.
minus 235 on the money line. And the total is sitting at 44 right now. So implied win probability, Panthers 69%, Jets 31% right now.
Understood.
Mm-hmm.
So look, this is a very substantial game in my life, right? I was in the green room when Sam Darnold was drafted by the Jets. Vayner Sports had its first potential first-round pick in Josh Jackson. So we were literally there. I was there. And because the Jets are my life, I inappropriately left my players' table. Sorry, Josh, I love you. And hovered around all three quarterbacks' tables, right, that were there, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, and Sam Darnold's, and tried to see who was getting a phone call, and saw that Darnold got it, ran back to my table where my more appropriate brother AJ was still sitting with our client, and said, I think it's Darnold. We wanted Darnold over everyone, over Baker, over Allen, over Lamar Jackson, over all of them. And you know, I spoke at USC and got friendly with Sam. You know, I took him out to his first New York City dinner. Like, it was a real relationship. And Sam, to this day, I mean, I texted Sam the other day and said 15-1. That's how much I adore Sam Darnold.
Okay, so Gary, I got a question for you. So the props for this game like just dropped. And right now, Sam Darnold, 248.5 passing yards. That's where the line is set right now. So this is your boy. Like, do you think he can get there?
Well, let there be no confusion. He used to be my boy, right? When he wore green. Now he's just my boy, which is he's my guy. I love him, but he's not my guy.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? That means that my brother AJ is like, I love him so much, but I have literally tried to physically hurt him and pick up basketball like 3 years ago, let alone when we were kids. So I hope Sam Darnold has negative 800 yards passing. I hope this is Sam Darnold's worst game. I hope Sam Darnold is so bad that he gets benched in this game.
It looks like she doesn't want that to happen.
No, why would you say that?
I will say that because it's the truth. It's actually the truth. Like, it's important to tell the truth. And the truth is, I hope that Sam throws 700 interceptions, Jess. Like atrocious. Like, I want social media saying he should never play again, because that would mean that the Jets are going to win.
Right.
And that's what I would like to happen. So 248 yards. Now, the Jets also have lost 2 starting linebackers and have an incredibly inexperienced secondary filled with 5th and 6th round draft pick rookies. If there was ever a game that Sam should go over 248, it's this one. The variable is the Jets' defensive strength is its defensive line. Last year's Panthers offensive line was a little shaky. We'll have to see what happens this year. That is the Jets' only hope to stop Sam from 248, I think. Or the variable that our new coach is such a great leader of men that they play out of their mind, which is a great hope for most Jets fans.
Yeah. So Tia, how are you feeling about the Panthers this year? Like, they've got Gary's old boy, Sam Darnold, just somebody he used to know. Darnold put up 2,208 passing yards with the Jets last year. This year, he's got Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey. Like, how are we feeling in general about the Panthers?
I feel like overall we have a good team. I feel like pretty solid.
Yeah.
Feel good. Feel good about it.
Panthers are the favorites. I mean, Gary, I know this stat might hurt you. The Jets are 0-9 in their last 9 games in September.
It has not been fun to start the season the last 2 years. I'm very aware of that stat. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
I think you're also aware that Zach Wilson's praise from some pretty strong analysts is super inappropriate. Like, the praise is unbelievable. Like, when you start looking at Romo and others, Brewski, even your bandwagon Patriot, former Patriot, you don't even know Brewski because, you missed that era a little bit. I mean, you know who he is. But like, the accolades coming through for Zach are staggering. And that is the great hope going into this game, that if he's so Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes-ish, as some people have said, and look, I judge based on my own eyes. The kid clearly throws the ball different. That's why he's getting these comparisons. But there's so many other variables to become those kind of players. And he's such a kid, you got to let that play out. But the Jets, listen, Sam has a totally different weapon squad in Carolina that you just mentioned. I think that the thing that I'm most excited about is, so does Zach, right? Corey Davis is different. The kid Cole from the Jags is a really interesting player. The Elijah Moore, the 2nd round pick, looks scary good. We've beefed up the offensive line dramatically. So you start asking yourself, all that, and the culture in Florham Park is completely different. Let there be no confusion. I think all of us, no matter how deep into football or anything in life, when there is practical positivity versus like a cloud of confusion, things perform better. And under Coach Gaze, the last 2 years, the Jets have been in a cultural funk. And what Coach Saleh has brought to the table can't be underscored.
Okay, that's all very true. Tia, can you just tell me, do you have a prediction for Sunday's game? Who's going to win?
I'm sorry, but I think the Panthers are going to win.
What do you think the score will be?
I feel like by 4 or more. I'm just saying.
Okay, so you think that the Panthers, they're 4-point favorites. You think that they're going to cover the spread?
I believe so.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You heard it from Tia,
nothing.
Gary.
Yeah.
She thinks that the Panthers cover here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I also think the Panthers are going to cover. I mean, look, this is going to be tough for me because every part of my body wants them not to. And I wouldn't be surprised. By the way, you want to talk about a game I would never bet? It's this one. Yeah. You've got such variables that are such unknowns. Which, listen, that's a common thing for week 1. And our next 2 guests are going to talk about the 49ers and Lions, and they're going to have that. But look, to ask a rookie quarterback, a rookie head coach that have this many young players on their team, and the Jets are the youngest team in the NFL, to go on the road against this powerful of an offense and win week 1 is a very large ask. And I think the 4 points is conservative. And I think a lot of that has to do with Sam Darnold not performing to the level many thought he would in the first 3 years of his career. And I think that could end up being dangerous because I do think the Jets have been in massive funk land during Sam Darnold's career. And I believe that that is the most, I would argue that Sam Darnold is one of the most exciting and interesting questions of this NFL season. Because I don't think, Jess, you really know what you're talking about. You wouldn't be stunned if he went crazy and was remarkable. You would say, aha, it was the situation. It was the weapons. He's now living up to what a lot of people saw in him. And so I think that's the reason the Jets are even only 4-point underdogs. But I do think that I would not bet this game, but I would say that if, for the sake of the show, and the dialogue, if you're asking me, do I think the Panthers can cover the 4 points? I think they can, yes.
So even though you don't want to bet this game, you kind of want to stay away from it. Is there anything in here maybe with Sam Darnold that you could be interested in? Like maybe he goes over the 248.5.
I would,
you don't want him to.
By the way, to your point, I would never bet the 4 points because I still think the Jets could get that Robert Saleh, Zach combo, new eight, that happens with rookie coaches, rookie quarterback. Like I could see the Jets winning this game, and boy, do I want that. But the 248, I love. The thing that I don't know is, I think the Jets are actually, I love the 248. I was about to say how much the game plan is around C-Mac, but because C-Mac catches the ball, and because I think the Jets are actually going to stop the run more than people think, I think they're going to open it up, and I think the Jets are going to struggle to cover Robbie and DJ. And so I would say the 248 over is more exciting.
All right. You like the over 248.5. All right.
Oh, there's a half in it?
Yeah, there's a half in it.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Wanted to make sure, but that's, got to get those stats in there. Again, odds and lines are subject to change. So right now there's a half in it, but that could shift.
Move.
It could move.
Tia, there's 17 games. What do you think the Panthers' record's going to be this year?
Win all of them.
17-0. Our first 17-0 prediction.
He is like they're going all the way, undefeated.
Yeah, I'm going all out.
Tia, I wish you so much success in your career. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Great to meet you, Tia.
Thank you.
Let me give some more value because this is a football show, a betting show, a real show. And that was a little more fun. And then we'll keep it. We're about to get a lot meatier. Let me throw a couple more other variables out. The Jets back seven, are really inexperienced. You got CJ Mosley and Marcus May, who are real legit guys, but literally the rest of it is young. And so I'm telling you right now that really bodes well for Sam. As a matter of fact, as another thing for you to think about, everybody who's listening, if Sam is not successful, unless Quinnen Williams decides to get to that Aaron Donald level, that I think is a ridiculous statement, but I think Quinnen could be crazy. Unless he completely disrupts the game, which he can. If Sam doesn't go over 248.5, I'd be very worried about the Panthers because that's how inexperienced this Jets secondary is. I want to remind everybody the Jets really don't have a tight end situation that's good. Their running back by committee is not so super great. This is a game the Panthers should really easily get there on. But again, the Saleh, if Robert and Zach are right, they could bite you in the ass, especially in week one. So that's it on that. All right.
And now we have two other guys here.
And we're gonna jam with them. They're gonna go deeper. Gino the Ghost and Asher Roth are representing the 49ers and the Detroit Lions. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, starting with Gino for 30 seconds. And then you are going to orchestrate, Jess, their dialogue, which I will also jump into and listen to. Gino?
Absolutely.
What's up, guys? I'm Gino the Ghost. I'm a multi-platinum singer, songwriter, and artist, born in Detroit, and now I live in Los Angeles. And I am, for better or worse, a diehard Lions.
I love it. Asher? Oh, we see it.
Here we go.
Okay.
It's a magic number. 1994-1995 season against the San Diego Chargers. My life changed just watching the 49ers just beat the San Diego Chargers. I think it was in Miami. I went back last year, got my heart broken, but the love just gets stronger. You know what I mean?
Of course I do. And give everybody a little context on your career.
My name's Asher Roth. I'm lucky enough, fortunate enough to hang with Gino and know what it feels like to go multi-platinum, but at the same time, just chipping away here in Philadelphia, having some fun in the music world and rooting on the 49ers.
Asher's a legend. Stop
I'm
being
very
so
aware.
legend.
Okay, so really quick before we get into some of the numbers, Gino explained why he's a Lions fan. He was born into it, and for better or worse.
I would
But
never
Asher-
choose to be a Lions fan.
Yeah, but Asher, you're a 49ers fan, but you live in Philly. You're from Philly. So how did
Right.
that happen?
Well, Jess, I'm sorry to interrupt, Asher. This should be so natural for you, Jess. Asher watched the team
He's a
win chip-
bandwagon fan.
He's a bandwagon fan.
This actually isn't entirely true. So my father's a West Coast kid, Stanford guy. He told me Bill Walsh is the one. He gave me two guys. He told me Bill Walsh and Willie Mays, greatest coach and then greatest baseball player of all time. So I'm San Francisco Giants, San Francisco 49ers. He said the rest is on you. And so growing up, watching the 49ers be good early in the 80s and then obviously the 90s for me, it was easy. Yes, of course, your team's winning. Who wants to root for the Jets? I remember you guys, when I was young, it was like Rich Kotite. It was like, who wants to root for this squad? Same with the Eagles too. The Eagles were going through it too. So we'll move on. But yeah, the Niners are easy to root for, especially right now.
Well,
Fair.
all right. I mean, that's fair enough context right there. So
What's the spread on what's the data around this game, Jess?
okay, so 49ers are 7.5 point favorites. They're minus 365 on the money line, and the total is sitting at 44.5. Fun fact, average of 60 points per game at Ford Field. So
Gino, talk to me, bro.
Well, so not to give you a teaser into my locks for this game, but we're hitting the over, we're hitting the 0.5 point over, and I think the Lions are going to cover, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the Lions traditionally, and I would know, set up Lions fans to think, hold on now, they start serving out the Kool-Aid early. We always come out hot. We play great at Ford Field, high scoring totals. I think that Niners defense is not going to be as good as everybody thinks it's going to be.
I know why.
Go ahead, Gary. Why?
Well, because their defensive coordinator is now my head coach, and he is the heart and soul of that entire operation.
Sir. Yes, sir. Whole new regime change. Obviously, Bose is back. He's a stud. But obviously, I think everyone's going to be thinking the under here because Goff is not a sexy pick. We don't really have any receivers per se. I think
that's a nice way of putting it.
I think TJ has a big game. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is a name that people are going to start knowing about.
West Coast.
And I don't think we're going to win, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think.
Okay, so the first half total is 22.5. And Gino, each of the Lions' last 10 season openers have gone over the total points. So
Yes.
You got the trends in your favor, man.
Absolutely. And Gary, I wanted to tell you, the last Lions game I went to actually was against the Jets. It was Sam Darnold's first game.
Oh, I remember his first pass.
Pick
His
six.
first pass as a pro was an interception on still one of the most ridiculous passes I've ever seen. He
The worst
literally,
throw ever.
I've actually never seen somebody throw a cross field pass that far. He was sideline to sideline.
Yeah.
The place erupts, Jess. All these Lions fans are shitting on me.
You were there, right?
I was there. I was wearing
Yeah,
my
you were
Darnold jersey. They were going bananas on me. They were dancing on me. These people
Gino,
were
was he
physically-
there? Can't you tell this is like a core trauma memory for
No,
Gary?
this isn't a
now?
trauma memory. It's one of the best moments of all time. It's
It's
great
not a
game.
trauma memory.
It started
and why
bad.
is that, Gary? Why is that?
That's because the Jets completely exploded. We had 5 picks. We blew them out of the building. And then I got to dance on all the Lions fans at the end. It was miraculous. That was your last game? Well, yeah, that's why was that your last? Well, oh, you don't live there.
I live in LA,
Yeah, exactly.
It was such a trauma moment for me because it was the beginning of the Patricia era.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it really set the tone for that era. So
Dark time.
He stinks.
dark times.
I'm tailing Gino on some of his bets. I mean, I'm on Roth, 38.5 over receiving yards. I'm with that. But as far as the 49ers defense is concerned, it's plus 290 for a defense touchdown. Taking it.
I take it.
Sure.
I
And
take it.
By the way, the raw numbers are really good. 38 and a half.
38 and a half for
I like
receiving
that
yards.
too.
Over,
On the
for
record,
sure.
I like that a lot. The kid can play. They're going to be
Yeah.
down, but I actually think the Niners might blow them out. And I think they'll be throwing late, early. And so that bodes well for the 38 and a half. I think that's a good pick.
Niners at D-back, they're a little thin. If you just saw, we signed like Josh Norman off the street. So we're still getting some veteran depth, which I like. My love and concern for Richard Sherman in this offseason, but Emmanuel Mosley's a little bit dinged up. So there's room for Detroit to cover. And historically, actually, the Niners are slow starters. So I'm not mad at what Gino's talking about Detroit to cover. I'm staying away from that 7.5. And typically in NFL games, I do. But that over 44.5, just because I expect the 49ers to put up 37 points on their own.
Wow.
I'm taking that 44.5, the over. I also really love Raheem Mostert. He's got over under 68.5 for rush yards. It's like, how do you not take that when he can get that on one run? So I don't know. I think the disparity between the Niners and Detroit is just enough to win a lot of money on this game.
So games with the 49ers averaged 47.9 points, with the Lions 56 points last year. So like, it seems like this is an easy over here.
Yeah, in Ford Field. Yeah.
Which is when you know exactly what happens next, right?
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
going under,
7-6.
baby.
7-6 with 2
To make
minutes to
money.
go. Yep.
But yeah, the
Nothing.
Niners are slow starters, man.
DraftKings always wins. Let there be no confusion.
That's the show.
What do I have to say about what I just listened to? I have to say that the 2 player props that I just heard are incredibly attractive. I think Ra is going to be a real player. And I think that as the Jets were on the receiving end of one of those runs that was more than 68 yards, he had 2 of them actually against the Jets, if I recall, last year. I think that's right. Anytime there's a player with the speed and capability of going over on a single run, you're sitting awfully good. I think that is beautiful. 60. I don't have a good Gino. What is the Lions defense situation?
So I feel stronger about like the pass rush than I do about like the run defense, which I'm very bullish on like Dan Campbell installing a new culture and just like ankle biting, down and dirty. I mean, I know stop the run is like their first initiative this game because the 49ers traditionally, Shanahan does a lot of like misdirection, throw guys in motion, play action. And if we can stop the run, obviously we can.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think Mostert's a lock just because the Lions traditionally give up big plays and Mostert traditionally gets big plays. I guess I'm curious about like what the workload is going to be like between him and Sermon.
Yeah.
So I guess that's really my only question. Like, is it going to be like, what's the timeshare going to look like?
Sure.
But
I think it's week 1. So I think it's kind of similar to what's going on with the quarterback here. It's like, let the boys play. What's really cool about the Niners right now is they're pretty locked in as far as like who their captains are. I mean, George Kittle, year 5, Fred Warner extended. So we have our heart and soul pretty identified. Detroit, Jets as well. You guys are kind of like, you're tilling your soil right now. You know what I mean? And our plant is being grown. So I'm excited for it. I think it's a great matchup for us. But again, it's one of those things. Niners are typically so slow starting. Now's not the year for it. We got to start fast against Detroit. And I'm with you. I think a lock, and I would love a little boost on that 68.5 for Raheem to go over.
Over 68.5 rushing yards. Hey, it's possible. We are going to choose one of these. So really quick before we sort of, I don't know where you guys are going to go after this, but Asher, Gino the Ghost, let's get a prediction for a score from both of you. You both think it's going to go over, but what do we think the score is going to be?
Gino, go ahead.
You start. You said
All
you seem pretty set on Niners at 37 points.
I feel good. Yeah, I have the Niners they should win this game. I would say 37-17.
Okay.
Gino?
Okay. Well,
I thought you liked the 7.5. I thought
20?
you. 20? What happened? Yeah, what happened? You said you kind of you weren't mad at him for the 7.5. You said you don't
Yeah,
even
now you're
like
talking.
You also said
past
that
the
you don't
six.
like doing 7.5 in any NFL game, and you just dropped the 20 spot on Gino's head.
Gino, remember when you guys were talking about the last game that you were at, Sam Darnold,
All right.
first
Yeah,
touchdown?
but
I'm
that
pretty
was-
sure
that was the
Jared
Matt-
Goff is going to do the same thing.
I think
That
Jared
was the
Goff is
Matt
going to stick it to
Patricia.
you for some reason.
That was
Jared
the Matt
Goff-
Patricia era. That was the
Jared
Matt
Goff
Patricia era.
is
All right, Gino,
haunting the 49ers.
Gino, what is your prediction?
Okay, so I think that Jared Goff needed a change of scenery. We're forgetting that Jared Goff is still a very young, promising talent.
Mhm.
I don't think he's the answer for Detroit, but I think he's going to check the box here for a couple years while we rebuild until we
A
inevitably
little
draft our-
holdover quarterback. Niners we're familiar with those guys, JT O'Sullivans of the world,
What are you talking about? You've got one right now.
and Jimmy G. Well, we
You've got a
we
hold
also-
out guy right now.
We also went to the
Jimmy
Super
G.
Bowl with him. I'll
right,
defend Jimmy
look.
G. Although I had my moment with Jimmy and watching Jimmy play. I forget what it was. It was a pass over the middle that got batted down. Not only in the Super Bowl, but just one of those moments when you're watching your team and you go, "He ain't the guy." You know what I mean? But
The guy. You know what it is about Jimmy G?
You're not that guy.
He's too handsome.
he's
The
too
guy's
good
great.
looking, bro.
I agree. Adversity matters.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta
my
I
comp,
never had to struggle.
still believe that Tom Brady would have 0 Super Bowls if he started at Michigan instead of Drew Henson. 0.
Yeah.
Correct.
Adversity
You're
matters.
absolutely right.
it does.
Jimmy
By the way, I'm
G's
probably
been-
100% not right about that, but still, it's a good thought.
No, it does. It comes too easy for you.
Can we get Gino? Can we get your damn prediction? The fuck?
Look at my prediction. I'm just setting the table. All right. So look, Romeo Aquara, another name everybody's going to remember. He's going to wreak havoc on Jimmy G this game. I think the Lions lose, but I think I'll give you 35-31. How about that? Big high scoring game,
What's up?
35-31.
What's up?
I'm telling you right now, this game's going 20-16 Niners.
Oh, hey,
Under.
You might be
Taking
right.
the Gary's taking the under.
I'm taking the under.
Wow.
Dan Campbell, like just gets them all
The
riled
Niners
up,
offense
and the
is-
Niners miss
The
Robert
Niners
Saleh.
offense is not such a lock. Like
Dude,
I
you're
can
out
see
of
a
your
lot.
mind.
There's
Have you ever watched Deebo Samuel run with the ball in his hands? Brandon
I
Ayuk.
Yeah.
Brandon
Brandon Ayuk
literally-
and Debo Samuel and
elite
Kittle.
to
You guys,
man.
you have real things.
George Kittle,
real,
Raheem
real.
Mostert,
You guys have real skill players.
and a great offensive line.
I think that you're going to struggle in week 1. I just have a funny feeling.
Well,
And
Feelings,
another
feelings
thing-
matter, Jess. Feelings matter.
Feelings
Especially-
matter.
Another thing,
Especially
because
when
I'm
you're
not-
gambling.
Another thing,
100%.
I'm not done because I'm not done. DeAndre Swift, big game from DeAndre Swift. Pending he
What's
doesn't
his
have a
prop,
notice
Jess?
card.
What's his prop?
I've got it in here. Hold on. Keep talking.
worries.
I'll find it.
Philly boy,
problem.
Philly boy. I'll take DeAndre Swift. Philly boy.
Big boy, Philly's own.
Philly's own.
So he scored at least 1 touchdown in 4 of his last 5 games. He's plus 150 to score a TD.
I take it.
Why not?
He's good to go week 1. They said he's shifty. He catches the ball. I think we're going over, Gary.
We're about to find out, man. Thank you so much for being on the show. I love you guys.
All right, y'all. Be good, man. Go Niners.
Take care.
Go Lions. See y'all.
Bye, guys.
All right, let's get to the third part of the show where you really dictate my behavior.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you like which you like best for the odds boost.
Let's do
Okay.
it. Yep.
So we have Raheem Mostert over 68.5 rushing yards. We know
Okay.
Asher really liked that one.
Yep.
Another one, Amon-Ra St. Brown over 38.5 receiving yards.
Mhm.
Lions plus 7.5 over. We could like parlay that if you like Gino's prediction, but I kind of like these player props. So how do we feel about those?
What about
Or we
Sam?
could go
what
with
about Sam's-
Darnold.
What about Sam's
We could
248
go with
plus,
Sam
right?
Darnold over 248.5 passing yards. I
And
know you
explain
like
to
that
me in the
one.
audience what the boost up means for everybody who's going to be betting along with us and joining us.
So I don't know exactly. We're
Got it.
gonna do an odds boost. It's gonna
Got it.
mean it's better for you people. It's gonna be better than it already
That
is.
means
I
the
don't know.
number will go down. Like instead of 248, it'll go to 235 or something. Like theoretically, you don't know.
Theoretically, yeah. I won't
Yeah, I
give
got
you
it. I
those
respect that.
facts. You know, 'cause I don't wanna
I'm
get sued by our
gonna
lawyers,
go
but-
with Darnold over passing yards.
Okay, get this, Gary. This is breaking news.
It's moved.
Darnold moved already to 250.5. So the public's with you. So now what do you think? It was at 248.5. Now it's at 250.5. This was literally, this prop came out like 20 minutes ago.
Over. Boost it.
Over.
I want my audience to win. Over. Let's boost it.
Okay, so the odds boost is going to make the -110 move to
By the way,
plus 110
I need to
or
disclose
higher.
this. There's a single reason I'm doing this.
Okay.
Because if Darnold throws for 300 yards, I'm going to be devastated. So at least I'll know that my audience got boosted.
Yeah, and you can at least know that you called it.
I'd rather the Jets win. I don't need to call shit.
I know.
All right.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
But they're going to lose because they lose every September.
No, they're going to win some games in September this year. It's going to happen.
I want that for you, Gary. I really do.
Thank you, Jess.
All right, so we picked it. We're boosting the
Yes.
Darnold prop.
Yes.
It's 250.5. We're taking the over. So the odds boost is going to make the -110 move to plus 110 or something higher. And we will get those
I see.
exact. Yeah, we'll get that
Understood. Better
exact
odds. Got it.
facts
Yep.
for the people. But wow, what a show.
It's a real show.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it. We did Jets versus Panthers. We debated it. I mean, I debated it.
Yes.
Tia just came on to prove she'll be famous one
Tia
day.
came on to tell us that the Panthers are going 17-0.
That's right. And then, but
Bold
Gino,
we'll see if it plays.
hopefully it ends this week. Hopefully I can end Tia's dream this week. But Asher and Gino came in and did real good football. That was really good football talk.
Oh, that was awesome.
Uh-huh.
And of course, Gary, I have to jump in and just say, obviously, we know this, the odds and lines are subject to change.
Yep.
And just for the people who are watching, if Darnold does go out with an injury, we're going to have them checking your Twitter, Gary, for a different boost. We're not going to leave people hanging. So
I
if
love
something
that.
happens to Darnold, we're going to choose something
And what
else.
about the Players League? Because I think a lot of people are going to listen to this ASAP. I'm going to push it all weekend. Maybe some of them don't want to bet on the things we just talked about. What's the thing that they can all do?
Okay, so the listener DFS contest,
Yes.
people can enter those, right? And we're going to be keeping track of all of that.
There's so many new people that are going to be coming from my world. Just so that's daily fantasy, right?
Yes. So people are going to come play in the listener league, right? It's going to be the Die Hard Dialogue Week 1 DFS contest in the Props and Drops listener league. And the prize for whoever comes in first is going to be a Sam Darnold rookie card. So it's pretty sick.
Cards, I think, by the way, on the record. I think it's multiple.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do
There
they
might
win
be
anything
three.
else, or is that the only thing? The winning comes from me.
I think that's pretty much everything, Gary.
Good.
I mean, second place is going
And
to get some
pride.
money. So
There's money.
Yeah.
Oh, there's money.
Second place.
All right,
Get
good.
some money. So
Well, I'm gonna
bad.
enter it and win. I'm gonna win my own cards.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
Is that not allowed? Okay, fine.
I don't know.
Thank you for the show.
Yeah.
That was
Die
fun.
Hard Dialogue, week 1. You crushed it, Gary.
Die Hard Dialogue, week 1, where we promise you going forward, everybody will be a Die Hard. We needed to have that one asterisk as the first guest for my selfish behavior. We'll
For
see you
Jeopardy.
next week. Jets Patriots, where Jess and I are going to get feisty. Feisty. Yep. We'll see you next week.